Hello and welcome to Week 9 in Behavior Management. By the way, I want to congratulate all of you in all of my classes. This is the one class where I have perfect grades. So nobody's in trouble, everybody's doing the work. Fabulous. So I'm really impressed with this class as a whole and certainly with the work that individually you're doing. What I am not impressed with is how far behind I am behind in these videos that I had promised you. As I got ready for this week and looking at what was coming up, we're looking at prompts and error corrections. And this was all, and I'm like, man, there's such good videos to do on that. I'm going to do my best anyway. So Chapter 10 prompts and Chapter 11 error correction are on the table today, this week. And so prompts and error corrections are both ways in which you as the teacher actively engage in the structure of the A's dynamically as the behavior is occurring. So prompts, kind of like instructions. Now they can be verbal, they can be signs on the wall, direct, say you're going along and then there's an arrow that points that way and there's an arrow that points that way. Those are all fall into the category of prompts, but they're basically signals, language, and otherwise that tell you what the next step is. And the value of those, the value being clear about those, and whether you want to use those or not is really an interesting discussion. The second one is error correction, which is, in a way, it's the C in a dynamic learning situation where somebody does something and then you provide, okay, you're teaching long division and you might say, you're just about, you might point out the mistake they just made. So that kind of error correction. Now, error correction has actually been a really huge part of automated teaching mechanisms like computerized teaching, which catch your errors. The actual squiggly line, the little red line that goes under a word that you've misspelled when you're using Microsoft Word is actually a form, if you kind of look at that as a consequence of writing the word incorrectly, is that red line is underlined, which is an error correction system. It becomes the A, the stimulus prompt that makes you go back and correct that spelling mistake. So it's as you're taking this course, you start to see where these things have been built in around us all the time. When we error correction, I'm trying to think when, something where a buzzer goes off if you try and do something too early or something. I know that there's times that I've been grading and I'll check the grading boxes in my grading rubric and I'll go to submit and this little beep will come up and says, it's not done. Stop, don't press the submit button. It's still calculating the grade because I'm so fast, right? So fast. Anyway, I'm press those buttons and then that error correction comes up and says, wait until the system is done calculating the grade based on the rubric and then you can press the submit button. Now, imagine, however, just in a situation like that where, and this is often what's built into computer programs as well, is methods to eradicate errors like that. They could put in the program that the button doesn't become available for me to submit until all the grades have been completed. That would be a mechanism built in to ensure no errors occur. Sometimes when you're filling out an online form, and let's say you go into you're filling out the online form and you go to submit and it gets a warning and it has this said, your phone number is invalid because it wants it in a particular format. And so it'll highlight that. So that's a mechanism of error correction. And we can use that very dynamically within our interactions and behavior management, or we can build them into the tools themselves. And probably one of the most famous contributors to that idea of building in error correction are the supplies and tools that are used in Montessori education. Montessori specifically has an art of creating items that are self-correcting, meaning the classic one is, meaning there's only one way to do this, and you're going to know it. You're going to know you're in error because of the way the mechanism is designed. So imagine that little rocking toy that has the rings on top of it, and the rings are of different sizes, and the pole in the middle is kind of like that. There's only one way to put that together and be able to put them all on there. So a very small child can figure out that they can put those things on there, but then they quickly run out of room. So they know they're doing it wrong because they have all these circles, all these little rings, and they want to put them on there, and they'll keep trying it until they get it. And it teaches that, relative size, concentric type circles going up. And it does it without any intervention from anybody from the outside. The toy itself is self-correcting. And that's one of the aspects of Montessori education, is that particular quality of error correction built into the materials that are provided for children to self-guide their learning. So cool stuff. I hope you enjoy these 2 chapters, and I will see you in the online discussions. Take care.